Proud of them, excited for this next opportunity. We'll enjoy this thing today and tomorrow before we figure out who our opponent is, and then we got to get healthy and get back to work for one less guaranteed.
And you know this song was on replay in the locker room. So this morning, the Fighting Irish are moving on to the national championship. That 27-24 victory last night over Penn State in the Orange Bowl.
And if you saw that game, you know Notre Dame's Mitch Jeter hit a 41-yard field goal to seal the deal. Dominic Miranda, again, was at that game. He's going to join us with much more on that coming up at 6:45. And what is next for Notre Dame?
We would love to just talk about that all morning.
And especially if you went to bed at the half, it's like, boy, Notre Dame just isn't doing it. And then 31 points for both teams in the fourth quarter. Dom will have much more on that great win in a few minutes.
Yeah. All right. Well, they had a little better weather there than we're going to have the next couple of days around here. We've got that snow moving in, but then we have the really cold temperatures that are going to settle.
Yeah, next week, that's for sure. Let's begin with a live look at a place that's very quiet right now, ladies. This is Greensburg, and Greensburg Community Schools, one of the 26 districts that are either closed or on delay or e-learning today. Mooresville Christian Academy on e-learning, Jennings County closed. But really here in Indy, we're just fine. There's no snow falling, and I don't expect any for maybe another 3 hours or so. So if you're getting ready to head out to work or school, you should be okay. The only snow that's falling is, if you'll notice, and this is a huge stretch, by the way, of snow from basically the Canadian line to ice in Mississippi and then rain in Mississippi and Louisiana. But most of the snow still in Illinois. We're seeing a few snowflakes, maybe some flurries hitting the ground north of Lafayette. Winter weather advisory will be in effect this morning and continue through 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and with good reason. We're expecting very slick roads, especially this afternoon, snow-covered and hazardous conditions for some. Now, this is not going to be like blizzard-like conditions. It's going to be a steady snow. You can see that's what's happening in Illinois right now from Springfield to Effingham and St. Louis, and this will move in later today. 19 out there right now, 20 in Kokomo, 17 in Bedford, only 11 in Richmond. Here's what we're looking at later today. Area-wide, 2 to 4 inches. However, specifically, I think from, let's say, Indianapolis and Carmel south, 3 to 4. So we'll talk more about that in detail in a few minutes, but here's what we're looking at for the rest of the day. 19 by 8 a.m., 23 with snow falling at lunchtime, more snow for that drive home from work and school, a high of 26 degrees. So I'm telling you right now, be careful because, Matt, we're going to have snow falling during that entire evening rush hour.
Yeah, and the roads are likely to become snow covered, and that's something that we'll be checking, your whole weather team will be checking all morning, because we want to see how the roads are going to be doing. Right now, the road sensors are dry here in Indy. Now, granted, there are a couple little slick spots. There are some black ice reports coming in from NDOT, especially on 65 and a lot of the bridges. They're towards 38th Street, Lafayette Road, and then on the east side of the city as you're going over East Washington Street, kind of passing the skyscrapers there. Watch out for some slick spots here and there. But then these are the road sensors. Notice how Chuck was talking about the light snow starting to reach the state line. But look how the road sensors don't really pick up snow until almost to St. Louis. So there's a gap. It's going to take a while for the roads to become snow covered. This will be a very gradual process, kind of like paint drying. All right, we have that jackknife trailer there on 465 on the east side of the city. You're looking south, but these are the northbound lanes. Headlights headed northbound. They're at the exit of Pendleton Pike. That inside lane has now been closed, so we'll be watching this situation closely. But right now, we have Sia New Yorker. She is live in the newsroom with an update from DPW.
Yes, good morning, Matt. Right now, Indy DPW leaders say they're ahead of schedule cleaning major roads before this next round of snow. Now, take a look. This is the Snowplow Truck Cam website from Indy TrafficWise. It's an online map that shows all of the active snowplows out this morning. Now, right now, you can see just a few of them around I-465. They're getting ready for that snow that Chuck said is expected to hit in the next few hours. Now, crews have been hard at work all of this last week. Leaders say the crews are continuing on 12-hour shifts ahead of today's storm. So far, they've used almost 6,000 tons of salt, have plowed 64,500 miles, and logged more than 10,000 hours. Now, they're determined to keep Hoosiers moving on the roadways.
We've got our primary and secondary thoroughfares cleared. We've got our connector streets in the denser residential areas cleared. And so right now we're taking this potentially 24 hours to help make sure our crews and our equipment are in good shape.
Now, we're told crews will continue to focus on the connector streets in some of the denser residential areas, as well as the major roads with this new storm. We've talked with some folks, though, in those neighborhoods who hope that happens very soon. Now, hear all about that straight ahead on Sunrise at 6:30. Ladies.
All right. Thanks so much. See you. Appreciate it.
And as we know, weather can change in minutes here in Central Indiana. So we're going to keep you updated on the forecast on air and on the live Doppler 13 weather app. It's a good tool to have. You can also check out the weather blog after you download this from your phone's app store.
Well, this morning, fire investigators are working to find out what caused a fire at a vacant building on Indy's south side.
So IFD says the call came in just after midnight about this building on Shelby Street near West Raymond Street.
The fire did cause the rear part of this building to actually collapse in, and crews had to work their way through debris from that building just so they could get to the fire. Now, one of the big complications is this structure is in the middle of two active businesses, a coffee shop and a brewery. Now, those two shops did have some minor damage, we're told, on the roof area, but nothing major on the interior. Rita Reith with IFD tells 13 News they do believe this could have been started by squatters just trying to get in out of the cold.
We realize that, we do have a lot of vacant structures where people are trying to seek shelter, but we need people to call that in and make sure if you see something, say something. So at this point, we're looking at a vacant structure that may have been occupied by squatters to keep warm. If they built a fire inside of it, this is what can happen.
Well, the good news is that IFD says that no one was reported to be hurt in this fire.
This morning, an Indianapolis woman is starting her prison sentence in connection to a shooting in a music video that was being shot at a gas station on the city's west side. A pretty interesting story here. So this happened nearly a year ago on February 17th at this gas station, the Phillips 66 Crystal Flash gas station. This is at 34th and Shadeline, and what you're seeing here is part of that video. Well, that night, the video titled "Keep Shooting" was being recorded. And that same night, police say 5 people were caught on surveillance video firing guns as they left the store. Well, a person in a nearby vehicle was actually shot. Tranisha Fennell took a plea deal for having a gun as a serious violent felon, and Fennell is on the right in this music video that you see here from this clip.
Do you understand what is contained in the written plea agreement?
Yep.
Do you understand that you don't have to plead guilty to any criminal charge today?
Yep.
After prison, she will be on home detention for 2 years. Dejon Jones is the featured artist in the video seen here in court. He took a plea deal for criminal recklessness and is on probation right now. So in total, 4 people took plea deals in the case. Another man's case is still pending, and he's due back in court this month.
Your time is 6:08. Right now, some property owners in Noblesville say they're frustrated with Duke Energy.
So the company plans to clear land for improvements to a major power line later this month. Chris Orr, though, is just one of the property owners who has lived in this tucked away area for more than a decade. He tells 13 News privacy is a big reason he moved in, loving the trees all around him. Well, a lot of those will be cleared to make way for this improvement.
And it's not just his property, but some of his neighbors too. Orr says this move by Duke Energy is affecting his property value.
We built all this. This is 30 plus years worth of growth that you're just going to take out without a care in the world and not compensate us or act like you even care about it. Our property value is going to go down. Not to mention we're losing our privacy.
Well, in terms of compensation, legally Duke doesn't have to pay because the company is clearing land within a 50-foot easement. That is the land on both sides of the line that they want to build.
When they bought the easement years ago, they bought the rights to remove the trees. So Duke says it will replant grass, but then also use an inspector to monitor the restoration.
Okay, parents, you'll want to hear about this. Your child's information may have been compromised, as Indiana students are among the millions who have had their information exposed in a data breach on an app called PowerSchool. So this breach happened back in December, and it exposed the data of students, families, and schools. Now, not all customers are affected by this, but we have received confirmation of data exposure from Avon, Brownsburg, Fayette County, Greenfield Central, IPS, and Noblesville schools. So we're still checking in to learn if other districts are involved in this. If you want to read that statement from IPS, we have it posted at WTHR.com.
6:10 and turning to the State House. This morning we're getting a look at some of the key issues Senate Democrats plan to tackle this session.
Well, while the budget will be the main focus during this session, Senate Democrats want to focus on more than just the numbers in the bill. Education is at the top of the list. Senate Democrats say that their priority is fully funding education. Right now, they do have a bill that would raise the starting pay for Indiana teachers up to $65,000. They believe that's a way to address the more than 2,000 open teacher positions across the state.
And that's not just a number. It is a crisis. It means larger class sizes, it means overworked teachers, and it means fewer opportunities for our kids to be successful.
Senate Democrats also want to expand the state's On My Way pre-K program and the Child Care Development Fund. For health care, Senate Democrats want Medicaid to start covering doula services for women giving birth. They also want to expand mental health care for moms after babies are born. Well, right now, thousands of firefighters continue to frantically work around the clock to try and put multiple wildfires that are still raging out in California.
This is as the powerful Santa Ana winds fueling the fire and spreading it show no signs of letting up.